I've seen behind the curtain of multiple podcasts. What I have enjoyed is,
what's been one of your top kind of memorable episodes that you remember?
I think it was probably one of the first ones when we had.
Actually, we could do worse episode, but not mention the name.
So there was this guest that,
if you're going to be on a podcast, just don't shoot it from a restaurant.
Who is your favorite construction or trades company that exists that you truly admire?
if I had to go back in time and do it all again, I think I'd be an electrician.
Out of all the licensed trades, who do you think gets more shit about their trade than any other trade?
To be honest, I think
Welcome to Beers with Contractors.
Okay, to you guys listening, we're starting from the top. This is the beginning of the episode for you, but we have actually been 7 minutes deep into another episode that you will never hear because old Drake is in studio for our 100th. Cheers to you, Drake. Cheers. Get your jingling.
cheers.
There we go. And Terry, thank you, sir, for being along this journey with me. But yeah, there will be value in this episode, by the way, but we are in a new place in our studio. If you're wondering, right behind me here, that's Terry's sitting place, and you get to see a little bit of my studio right there. But yeah, Terry, congrats, sir. We made it.
No,
Did you know we can retire from our jobs now, and then we can do this full time and make negative $30,000 a year?
oh, God. There's nothing I'd like more than to spend more time and money towards something that it has no monetary redeeming value. There's educational redeeming value for sure, but there's definitely no monetary value.
It's called
in
serving
this.
others, guys.
That's right. That's right.
You're helping the people.
This is public
Yes.
service or
Yeah.
penance. Penance
Yeah.
is another word.
So Drake, the only person making money in this endeavor is you. How you feel about this last 100
It's been
episodes?
great. I think what I will say is, so I've seen behind the curtain of multiple podcasts. And so what I have enjoyed is through technical difficulties, through guest technical difficulties, through scheduling, you guys are getting impact and getting views, and things are happening as the result of your dedication to sticking with it in a way that other podcasts, they just do it in the short run and go, we didn't go viral, so what happened? Whereas this podcast, through all of the forms of distribution, has received millions of views, actually.
Well, and it's kind of funny, like, because you're like, dude, this is doing great. And I'm like, I'm looking at it. It's like, you got 12 views on YouTube. What are you seeing? But then there's all these other platforms. And Terry, did I tell you about the time my son and I went to Dave & Buster's?
No.
Okay. So I was at Dave & Buster's a few weeks ago. And of course, this is my 13-year-old. So, he's like ecstatic with anything dad does, right? No. He's just a younger Gen Alpha emo kid right now. So any
Emo's
emo
back.
kids out there, yeah, it's definitely back. It's just not called emo. But anyway, one of the waiters of the restaurant came up and goes, "Hey, do you have a podcast?"
Oh, no.
And I'm like, "Yeah." And this is like a 22-year-old kid. And my 13-year-old just rolls his eyes like, "Are you kidding me? Did you just get recognized?"
Straight up recognized. You're famous now.
Hey, I'm bummed that it wasn't an officer. Like, are you on a podcast? But anyway, no, Terry.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've seen your face on a video.
Yeah, Terry.
Yep.
How good are you at math?
Oh, not great.
Okay, so let's do some research. I got my calculator.
Okay.
So on average, including pre-gaming,
Mhm.
how many beers do we drink per episode?
Oh.
As you crack one open.
Wait, who's asking this?
I'm asking, like,
Like pregame, there's at least 2. Well, it depends.
if the day is rough.
No,
it's definitely a
if
2.
Will would do his job and get the keg filled because it's on him this time.
Yeah, it is on me. My bad.
So are we talking cans or keg beer?
Let's just call it cans.
Okay, serving 2 pregame, probably 4 within. So we'll say 6.
Damn professional drinker.
I know.
I would say I'm on pace with you. And by the way, for those of you guys don't know, and Drake's obviously in studio here, like, there's a sizable difference between Terry and I. What are you, 6'3"?
Yes,
You're a big fella,
large.
Yeah. I'm 6 and 185 pounds.
Less than
We
me,
can go
probably.
toe to toe. I don't think we've ever gone like, oh, dude, did you just doubt me?
Yes.
We're drinking buddies. So anyway, let's just call it 6 on a hard day. Technical difficulties. I'm 100 episodes in. We'll just call it an average of 75 because you came in around 50. So that's a total of 450 beers. Even worse, doing a little research on the internet, on average, each beer kills about 130 brain cells. So we have killed 58,000 brain cells together
I wasn't using them.
on this show. Yeah, I'm getting smarter by the day. What's your name? Oh,
And this is a lesson how some people can be successful no matter what.
The other part of this is if anyone hears that, they're probably going to mail us a pamphlet about like
Hey,
seeking help.
we have a disclaimer at the end, and we do drink responsibly and we pace. But, and again, I just wanted to make sure, like, I want to look back at episode 200 and revisit that and then just see how much more dumber we got.
See,
Oh,
you guys could have just gone like, we've only polished off 100 beers in our 100 episodes. 30 of them that have been kegs, but
no, the best part of that is at some point I'll get a text from Will when we have the keg running and it's, you know, we're going to call it 30 days. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. And like, hey, keg's done. And for a good 5 minutes, I started to think we have a problem. Well, you know, if 2 individuals are killing a keg
Hold on. Time out.
within 28 to 35 days.
Now you're making us sound irresponsible. To be clear, we have guests in my studio, my office, that come by that are not part of the podcast. And I'm like, hey, there's a keg there and there's frosted mugs in the fridge. If you want one, go grab it. And then people do.
Yep.
So,
No, yes.
but in looking back and our long time knowing each other as friends, but short time working together in the podcast, what's been one of your top kind of memorable episodes that you remember?
Oh, I don't know. I think it was probably one of the first ones when we had Zach Easley on.
Dude, you stole mine. Like, Zach's was awesome.
Well, that's what happens in a partnership. We get on the same wavelength. But no, I think having Zach on, Zach is in everything that we know Zach through. He is probably one of the most passionate individuals about the masonry trades. And that came through. And then he touched on a conversation about painting brick, which, you know, okay.
Dude, that lit up like the tiki-taki controls up and down. It was crazy, like the views.
What was the best part about that is probably a week and a half later, I was at a lunch and learn that Zach was putting on. And literally that topic came up because the principal architect was having a fight with his wife about painting brick.
Did you just show him the episode? Like, here, watch this.
I'm like, no,
Yeah.
we actually talked about that. So if you want like specific internet citations, you can go to this. But
Well, we both know Zach, and he's a great human being, but man, national level recognition. But you'd never know it if you met him just as a stranger on the street.
oh, and he's, I mean, you know, he's competed in the Bricklayer 500, gone to Vegas. Like he is exceptionally skilled and well known. Well, and then I'll turn it back to you. Since I took your glory, which is enjoyable in its own right, what's one of your more memorable episodes?
Well, and this one wasn't like a heavy hitting episode, but I'm a raving fan, and to be able to have John Malecki, and if you don't know who John Malecki is, man, 1.2 plus million followers on YouTube. I was starstruck that entire episode. I pounded 3 beers just to try to cool myself down before that episode. But like, I've been a fan of John's for years. And so me personally, I'm sure like everybody's people obviously listen to our podcast for value, right? And I don't care if that episode even got even 1 view. I've been like, cool, I got to check that box. Now, there is another episode that's interesting. We had Roger Wakefield out of Texas. He's a plumber. He's known all over the internet. He's an awesome educator. He backs the trades up. He was on our podcast. We had a blast with him. But then I got to go down to Texas and be on his podcast. And when you're done with his podcast, which makes me think we need to level up, Terry, he opens up this big gun safe, and it's like full of whiskey like bottom to top, super nice, high-end stuff. And Drake, because I was like, yeah, you can have whiskey, but I cannot have whiskey. Well, I partook, and dude, Roger Wakefield and I got smashed in studio after the show. Hey, dude, I needed to be driven out of there. That dude, talk about go toe to toe.
Yeah.
But Roger, man, he is a rock star. But what about you, Drake? You've had to be on the backside because we're gonna flip this question here in a second. You know what's coming, Drake. Dude.
I think there'll be some agreement on the next one. The-
Yeah.
as far as favorite episodes, so here's one of the things. Anybody who's listening, if you have not gone back and listened to some of the solo episodes, I think as far as
You are always
as
a
far
fan
as
of
a
those.
value to view ratio, some of them get really good views. The short form does really well, but just on long form, like some of your long form ones, I think there's a whole lot of value in those for the business owner to go start to
Mhm.
finish. How do I understand something about learn something about how to understand my business better? As far as favorite episodes, I think I'm going blank on his name, but I go blank on just about everybody's name. The PE investment banker on selling. It was earlier on selling your business.
Was that Christian Olsen?
Yeah, Christian. Yes.
Yeah, and so he's
Christian's
going to be on again in 2 weeks.
Christian's episode was really good because I think it is a spot that plenty of contractors find themselves in, where they're older, they're trying to figure out what to do. How do I sell my business? And just there's a lot of really good lessons in that one. We've had a lot of really good ones, but I think that's kind of my personal bias. I liked that one.
Well, you know what that brings up though is, we'll talk and we get our guests from mutual acquaintances or friends or people we know in the industry, right? And what gets me is I'll talk to some of my former students who are now out there that are small business owners and killing it. And they're hesitant to come on because they're like, well, no one wants to hear my story. And what gets me about that is everyone is in a position where you know more than someone else out there. You can always teach or guide or help someone else by saying what you screwed up or what you got right. And you're never going to know it all, but you can help someone else. And that's what I end up telling a lot of them. And it doesn't stick.
Well,
But
here's the other way to look at that too. That's everything you said is true. I'll add on top of that that their future customers would love to hear about them, because if their future customers Google their name and they see nothing about them, then they now don't know, they don't have as much information to make their decision. If they listen to, I forget he was like right out of school. I think he was one of your students. He was in the library. Yeah,
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably another
that was a
great
good
episode
episode.
that went way underrated. What was that student's name?
Jesus,
Jesus.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, such an awesome
But if
episode.
he were to start his own gig and people Google him and Google his name, Google his business, whatever, and they see him representing himself that well on a podcast, they're going to be like, yeah, I want this. This is who I would want. I would trust this person to work on my house, to work on something that's incredibly important to me. And I would make a buying decision off of that. And that's part of it, is just having a digital footprint so that people can see, hey, what do I think about these guys?
Well, and I think it was in our previous take, after Drake realized he screwed up, that we did the accounting, right? And to be honest, right? So there's a cost, there's a time cost, there's a monetary cost. Apparently, you calculated brain cell costs associated with what we paid for this. But for anyone who's out there, anything that you do in when I started this, it was much more nervous or forced or anything like that. But the ability to have this conversation and do this weekly with you all has helped me in my professional environment. And you speak more now at conferences and you're paid for these engagements. I think that's something that you've become more and more comfortable with, probably because of this, being forced to talk every week about different topics.
Yeah, I mean, anything's comfortable with a few beers in it, bro. It's better when you get paid for it. But I'm beyond my 10,000 hours. But then there's some days it's like, that didn't come off well. But one thing I want to go back to Jesus on that episode that blew my mind. And I want to be very clear to you guys out there. Like, sometimes guests just show up and I'm like, hell yeah. Other times it's like, man, we need to find guests. You brought up Jesus, and there's people like, well, I don't really have the equipment and things like that. And dude literally went to a public library, and that studio was better than our studio. Like, it was like, damn, like that's like, and he was like, yeah, I just go to the library and they let me use it. And I'm like, no shit.
Yeah,
bro.
there's your tax dollars at work.
That's resourceful.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, yeah, if you want to start a podcast, like literally you can go to public libraries now, I guess. So, but you can't drink beer in public.
No, but I think you could actually like even do like sound recording.
Yeah, there was musical
Yeah.
instruments in that thing. That was crazy. So, but yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. No, Drake, you brought that up. That was an awesome episode. And yeah, Christian Olsen, he's probably going to be a market update constant guest for us. And then, of course, I remember Dustin Stelzer was a good one, too. The electrician. This is before your days.
Okay.
And it's funny. We had so many technical difficulties. We ran through an entire episode, laughed our ass off, and we had so much fun that we jumped on the very next day and just did another one. And what was the line that he did, Drake, in that episode where it was, gosh, it went viral. Like, it was a big one. And anyway, I think it was something to the effect like, you know, why pick electrical over something else? And he was like, well, first off, if you want to be an idiot like the plumbers and something like that, he was taking a nice little jab because he's an electrician. And by the way, I mean, what do you think out of all the licensed trades, who do you think gets more shit about their trade than any other trade? Tradies, running your small business can be demanding. You got suppliers you got to work with. You're managing crews. Hell, you're chasing sales. It's a lot to take in. Listen, if you want to grow your business, you got to stop working in it and you got to start working on it. So that's where my friends at Foundation Rescue Supply come in. You're not just getting foundation hair products and waterproofing products and air quality control products. With their nationwide distribution, you're getting a partner who knows how to help you scale. And that's why I use them. The Foundation Rescue Supply team has industry knowledge that will help make your life easier. You get the tools, the trainings, the systems that you need to move the needle. You know, you want your sales team to close more leads? Done, because they have the proven process for that. You need your crews to work smarter, not harder? Done. Their installation training will get you out there and rocking and rolling in the field. With Foundation Rescue Supply, you're not just buying materials here, you're buying a better business system that they have helped create. And you sell more, you install more, and you grow your team. So the bottom line is this: you get best industry pricing, you get field productivity on track, and you get more revenue out of everybody on your team. So this is your chance to step up, scale up, and thrive. If you are ready to make that happen, head to foundationrescuesupply.com, check out their catalog, and speak to my friends, their team, how you can take beyond the products with your company with Foundation Rescue Supply.
Well, I mean,
I'll give you my bias. Like I have no dog in this fight, but like I hear all the trades making fun of electricians more than anybody.
I honestly think that's because if you're going to hate the ones that you wish you were, you know, because like, you know,
Hate the ones you wish you were. Is that what you said?
I mean, you know, the plumbers get into situations and they're dealing with things and, you know, they always, I mean, you should always wash your hands before you eat, but they really have to wash their hands before they eat. Let's be honest, right? And then, you know, HVAC, like those guys are going into attics and in spaces and they're a little bit too, I don't know. There's a lot more science and understanding of thermodynamics and stuff associated with HVAC. Electricians, they show up with a truck, you know, they can get out, they can work a half day, they can get the job done, and they don't clean up their own mess. I mean, at the end of the day, right? I mean,
there's your short form you want to drink.
That's it. I mean, if I had to go back in time and do it all again, I think I'd be an electrician.
I Dude, I think I would be too.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen these copper smelts that electricians and HVAC guys are using to save all their stuff and they're remelting it down into copper bricks? I'm like, that's pretty freaking smart. But funny story about plumbers. I just spoke at Stacy Coe's operation. That's somebody we need to have on.
Yes.
Which, to be clear, Stacy's sober and she's outspoken about sobriety, but she'd still be a great guest. But I spoke to all of her plumbers, and ironically, 2 days later, one of their plumbers was coming to my house to fix a shower and a toilet. I was not there. We let him in because I trust him. But Sydney comes in, and they're wrapped around this commode. They're fixing the fluid master, getting everything tightened back in, tightening on bolts. Everything's good. And Sydney walks in, and they look at her, and they stand up, and they're like, "We're the plumbers." And she goes, "Thank God." I thought you were the electricians.
We're the
Something.
plumbers.
And Stacy, if you're listening to this, you have great guys. But they were literally like, they looked at her like,
Why were we in your house?
Sydney's got that witty fast firing sense of humor. But yeah, I do think like electricians are like the Ford truck of the trades. They get a lot of shit.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and most of them are around not cleaning up. So
Now, and let's be honest, the majority of them don't clean up. Like the majority of electricians that I know don't clean up.
yeah. Well, now I want to be clear. Like we talked about this before the show. So here's the next thing. Like we mentioned some big names before. If you had to rank like the top, call it industry professionals, the Bob Vilas of the world, and all of these people, who would win if you put them all into a grudge match,
No.
into the octagon? Who would come out the champion? Like we talked about, like if Bob Vila versus the Property Brothers. And by the way, if you guys think there's something out there that you think would come supreme, I think Norm Abrams has got to take like the GOAT status.
Wait, are they physically fighting or are they just craftsmanship?
Sure. Yeah. No, let's make it. Let's paint a big picture here, like celebrity
Then
death
John
match
Malecki
level.
would win.
Oh, John Malecki would. Yeah, he is a football or was a football player. Yeah, he's a brute. Okay, yeah, all right. So hold on. Yeah, let's go ahead and break this down a little bit more. Now let's break it down to skill. Yeah, who would win there?
John
I don't
Malecki
know.
would win because I don't want him to come find me.
Yeah, that's right.
And Drake lives at.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4 Drake Avenue. But no, I think like Norm Abrams would be the GOAT OG at especially woodworking. I mean, you do woodworking, you do welding, you do fucking everything.
I don't do it well. I mean, and that's the enjoyable part is like, how do you refer to it? You say that you're at home on weekends watching a little dad porn, right? You're watching these like home renovation shows, right?
Maker's Channel, bro, on Roku. You can only get it on Roku.
And it's one of those things that like, I honestly wonder, because I do the same thing. And I wonder if my wife's just like, why are you finding any value in this? But you watch someone put something together, use their skill, and you can be in awe of what they're doing. Even if like, I think there was a time I got onto where they were like, this guy was rebuilding wagon wheels, right?
Oh, dude, I saw something similar to that. Yeah, I think I saw that episode. And have you seen the one where they make wooden propellers?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? That's crazy.
And you don't really think about it, but there's these skills that are going by the wayside because of technology advancement and, how many people need a wagon wheel, right? Or a wooden propeller at this point in time. But you look at these people that have these skills, and I talk to Zach about this all the time, right? His son is a mason. His son's a 5th generation mason. At some point, his son will stop being a mason and he'll be referred to as an artist. And he's not going to do anything different except charge a lot more.
Yeah.
Because as the trades become less and less prolific, the ones who are out there that are masters of these trades are going to be able to command whatever they want because there will always be people willing to pay for it. But
Well, and it's back to another episode, and this isn't any shameless plugs, but when we talk through these, Austin, man, Austin Tunnel has got his company. Their entire model is about artisan. Their entire business model is around artisan brickwork. And of course, we actually saw him at Zach Easley's
Yep.
art display show. And like he's built a massive following just on the craft of brick. And that was a cool episode too. So let me ask you this, and I'm going to test your knowledge base here. And I'll go first. Like, who is your favorite construction or trades company that exists that you truly admire? And I got a cool one here. And Drake, I want to hear this too. One of my favorite is there's this company out west called, when I say out west, East Coast, we're in Central Time Zone, called Windy Hill Forge. And these guys, we buy cast iron wall anchors and medallions from them. And they cast them all. They've got designs. They can do fleur-de-lins, diamonds, shapes. And so when you're going around like any Main Street USA, like if you see these designs on the building, those are actually a wall anchoring product. And they still to this day, we buy their product and it's the same two guys. And we literally get like handwritten receipts with a picture taken of it. And like, here's your bill. And it's scribbled down. And these guys have been doing this for 50 years. And they're like, their website hasn't been updated in forever, but they're like my favorite construction company because it's like we get embedded and we've had guests that are like technology based or new software stuff. But these guys are still running on old school paper and they are known all over the country for what they do. And I'm like, yeah, there's a cool thing. You can grow, but also you could just make a really big fucking difference for 30 years and people know you all over the country. That's why like Zach, we're raving fans of. But who's your favorite construction company you've ever admired or you admire from afar?
Oh,
which one was the first one you got fired from? Sorry. I'm just kidding.
So construction company we've had on or construction in general?
Or both. By the way, Stronghold Constructions episode, man, Zach Simmons, they are awesome.
So Zach was like, I love Zach, and he did a really good job, and he's grown something really amazing. To be honest, I think so. Remember Daniel Gear?
Oh yeah, Gear and Foster. Oh, where's our koozies? Oh, it's over there. Yeah.
So former student who iron worker. And reached back out because he had a question on how to grow his business. And at that point, I hadn't talked to him for years and years. And so now he's partnered with another gentleman. They have a structural steel assembly.
That was the episode we had a lot of times with the word erections/erectors.
Yeah,
because they are steel erectors. And by the way, my dad was a residential steel erection company. That's true term. And when we were going to high school, everybody wanted his t-shirts for his company because we were a bunch of immature freaking teenagers in small town in North Carolina. Can we get one of those Blake steel erection shirts? But it said steel erectors. But anyway, we had a lot of fun on that episode just with the joke of erectors.
But I think that's a perfect example of a young person who's in a trade that is, I mean, that's not a growing trade, right? Like how many young people are like checking off in high school? Oh, I want to go be a iron worker. Yep. That's definitely what I want.
Yeah.
And so he's stepped out on his own now, running his own thing because he knows he can do it better. And, talked to him just a few weeks ago and business is good. Growing, doing bigger jobs, and just to see a young person, because he's in his 30s, probably.
Yeah.
And
carving out a niche, too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think there's riches in the niches. And, for some of these contractors that are like, man, we're slow. Let's just all of a sudden we're doing landscaping.
Yeah.
And, he has doubled down on like, no, this is what we do. But what about you, Drake?
I think there's a lot to choose from. Of the samples, I think I enjoyed listening to Jeremiah
Oh,
Jeremiah
Jeremiah
Bryant.
Bryant?
I think the spray foam and just learning that for me with the building codes
Yeah.
because I had my internet service provider and I was in attics all the time, like the idea of spray foam insulation would be so much
We
nicer.
messed up with Jeremiah's episode because now, like, his following
Yeah.
is skyrocketed just in home energy. And it's like, man, I should have just waited an extra 2 months.
There's a lot of good
because,
stuff in there.
Like, oh, dude, he's
Mhm.
smart as a whip too, man. And yeah, it's funny. Sometimes I kind of glaze over when he's like gets really technical. Kind of like when I look at you sometimes. And I have to tell him, thank God we're drinking buddies. So he's like, I'm like, all right, hold on. Jeremiah, get the crayons out here, bro. But super smart. And it's interesting. We had a conversation a while ago because he's really well known in spray foam and home energy. And when you go to like a forum, like let's just call it on Facebook, like Blue Collar Millionaire, whatever, like they're talking about margins. They're talking about different conversion rates, things like that. You go to a spray foam Facebook group and they're talking about equipment and what type of foam are you using. Like they're not talking about business owner level stuff. And Jeremiah is bringing that industry up into more sophistication. And he's just was a great guest, but also just a good human being. Yeah, that's a good one. And especially if you don't like a lot of building science out there, great one to fall asleep to. But for you data geeks out there, which I am one, yeah, it's a total good one.
Well, I went down some rabbit holes on home insulation, and I'm always interested in like alternate building, like SIP stuff or the what is it? Some of the concrete, concrete. Yeah, I've gone down a few rabbit holes of that, and the ones I went down that had to do with insulation, I was listening. I was like, oh, we talked about that. We talked about that. We talked about that. So I was learning.
Yeah, I know. He's producing that show just so he can figure out what his next home project is. That's what it is.
So I came into this around episode 50, and we're at 100 now. And I can't quite fathom why in God's green earth you would ever want to do this. So what was was it just like a stupid thought after about 6 beers? Like, I'm going to do what was the genesis of this idea to have a podcast weekly?
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I showed up and I was like, oh, we were going to do a podcast and it's all going to go great, right? No, like most people, I think that start podcasts, they think this is going to end up making a connection to something that I sell or something I offer, which, by the way, that's a great model. And to be clear, I've earned customers and I have people that I consult with that have learned. Well, Brandon Powell was a guest of ours. He found me through our podcast. Now we're great friends. He owns a company in Charlotte, North Carolina. But now it's gotten to the point now, it's like, hey, I just like genuinely enjoy learning more and getting to know people. And I am at a point in my life where I can afford to do it. Like, actually, there's also somebody else we're going to have on our show coming up. And I'm really pumped about this. I want to lean a little bit more into sales, marketing, and margins is what I call it. But Jeff Peters, he just launched his first podcast called Elevate In-Home Sales. And he was so nervous about it, but he was texting me questions. And then it's like, he listens to every single episode. So we make this joke about you 5 to 6 listeners out there. But there's people that listen. And I should give a shout out to some of our OGs like Brad Webb, who owns Sinorama, listens to every episode. And Brandon Powell, Michael Soto, you know, people like Jeff Peters, my dad. Love you, Dad. That was a cool episode. Right after Hurricane Helene, my father, he lives in the high country of North Carolina and the Appalachian Mountains, for any of you guys international or abroad that don't know how to pronounce it. That was a technical difficulty episode that it was one of those, I wasn't frustrated, but the internet kept going out and we were literally trying to film an episode after Hurricane Helene. Man, that was a wild episode. But so some of you guys out there that are listening that called my father after that saying, hey, what do you need? We'll drive down from Ohio or Indiana. It was just cool to see that. So that was kind of probably a light bulb moment. That was like, yeah, I'll get to know people. I'll make some money off of, an account or my software or consulting. But it was like, oh, no, like, and I don't need 10,000 followers for this. It's just connecting with people, including like I never would have met Zach.
Yeah.
Through Stronghold if it weren't for that introduction by you bringing him on as a guest.
So to that point, what I could never understand is where did you find Drake and what Portageon did you get his phone number off of?
They actually, I think Brian Clifton,
Yeah.
which we should have on this, most of his titles are chief strategy officer, right? In a lot of companies, and most of the time, and I don't know this for certain, but he's involved in a lot of different industries, a lot of real estate, but also in certain times he doesn't consult. Sometimes it's in exchange for equity, even on his deals. He'd be a good one. But yeah, Brian introduced me to you,
It was
right?
Brian. It was Brian. You have Brian on that. There'd be a lot of gold, and we'd have to remind him to bring out the crayons because that man is cerebral. Brian is one of the few people who can say something and it means something when you first hear it, and you're right. And then you think about it more, and it's just like got layers to it, and it gets better every time.
He's good at breaking out the crayons for people.
He can
me,
speak
though.
simply.
He's like, yeah, Will's not that smart. Like, let me just go ahead and dumb this down.
He's an excellent speaker.
And then that reminds me, Matt Jones, our attorney. That episode, that's how I knew you too, because you were already working with Matt Jones. And if you want to learn about contracts, go back and see
that was a good one.
That one's.
And Matt's also an excellent LinkedIn follow.
Oh yeah, he is super huge. But no, so that's why I do it, and I'm an idiot. And I will say this for anybody out there thinking about starting a business or anything else, or you're in the business, like I just refuse to stop or give up on shit. That's just my thing. Is like, dude, if you're in, you're in. Like, let's go. And here we are today. And I bitch about it as some martyr or something about 100 episodes. It's been so hard, but dude, we're literally drinking beer every episode. So pour me another beer, bro.
Yeah. If this is the hardest part of our day, I think we're doing just fine.
Yeah, dude, I pictured like some of these really like sophisticated content creators that are like, you have to do research and all that for like 30 days. Then it's like, nah, that's not worth it. I got other stuff I can do.
Yeah. No, well, I think at times it isn't always like this, but at times the research is 30 minutes beforehand and or while we're talking to the guests.
I gotta give credit. Drake's little AI bot is doing pretty good, like pulling research and developing questions for us. Cause I'm like, damn, that's a pretty good question. So kudos to you, Drake. Then shameless plug for
generic AI. There's
one
that's
taking it over. And by the way, we're not real people here on this episode today. This is actually our avatars. It's only a matter of time, bro. I mean, there's already AI not waitresses. What am I trying to say? 33 beers in. AI like actresses and musical artists. Is it a matter of time before Drake, is AI going to take your job?
Eventually, probably.
Like
no. AI can function exceptionally well when things are correct and working as they should. Where AI is going to struggle is dealing with stupidity and errors that are caused by people. That's all Drake does. He deals with stupidity and errors caused by people.
Well, at least once a week with us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. You guys have been waiting, and I know you want to hear it. Should we rock, paper, scissors on this one?
No. My expectation, I don't know the question. I honestly don't know the question.
No, worse. Do we want to say guest?
No. You don't say guest.
Okay, actually, we can do worst guess, but not mention the name. And then if you guys want to go back and listen to it, by the way, it's not just for content. Sometimes it's just, anyway, for a number of reasons. But should we rock, paper, scissors this one?
We can.
All right, you ready?
We're
going to do
shoot.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Yes, okay.
All right, you ready, Drake? 1, 2, 3, shoot. All right, you're out, so you go first. You ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. Oh, I'm second.
Okay. So,
Biggest pain in the ass guest. No names.
not forget the name at this point. So, for those of you that don't understand, Drake does a tremendous amount of editing, and and part of what we do is we have a online Google Doc that we're sharing information between. And if you're around people like Drake is exceptionally professional, Will is not, but even Will has
Thanks, bro.
has his little I don't know think that if they go wrong, you can just see it start aggravating. And so there was this guest that so the setup it was bad computer, bad mic, bad audio, bad headset. And so Drake's already frustrated and Will's getting there. And then throughout, and I can't remember, throughout the interview, it was background noise, dogs, phone. I think they might have taken a phone call. And at some point,
He did take a phone call.
he just
So hold
seemed-
on. You're listening to our podcast and you're thinking, man, this is running pretty smooth. That's because Drake edits
Yes.
that stuff out. Like,
And so like the only thing I'm imagining is Will is just like starting to
His
boil
eyes
over.
twitching.
Yeah, and so I can just imagine.
dude, I developed a sty from that episode.
Yeah, and immediately after that was like this list of things that the guests had to have right. This is like a demand letter. You must have this, and you must have that.
I know
correct.
you did. I think after that episode, that's when you started like, I'm gonna create like all of this sign up documentation. Like, have you been on a podcast? Do you have a quiet?
Yeah, I remember
Oh my
creating that
God.
form that you never use.
I try.
That's not a
yeah.
representation of his value of you, Drake.
You know, I know Drake is so compliant that when I booked today's episode, I'm like, is he going to be online? Like, he remembers it's episode 100, but to be clear, no names, but yes, Bob Brown, your episode, you are a train wreck, bro. I love you, Bob, and I know you're not going to watch this far into the episode, but I know you got spatial vision. It's a cool software, but oh, Bob Brown, Bobby, you wore me the count. Actually, I will say this, and it's not at fault of the guest because you stole the cake on that one. When Jeff Gablesberg showed up a few weeks ago, and I
Yeah.
didn't know he was going to be in studio,
Yep.
and gosh, he has so much value to talk about, and it's not the guest, but I had to scramble around, get his mic set up, and use my cell phone to capture the video, and my phone kept dying. And it would not upload the video, and it was constantly so that I know we said we weren't going to name names, but that's not Jeff's fault
No.
from Jolly Goat. But man, I was working on a rough week, and dude, we've got to have a comeback episode for Jeff. And this is a good test. We're
Yeah.
finally in the studio, so it's like, okay, cool, we're set up now. Where if somebody randomly says, "Hey, I'm in studio,"
Yeah.
I flew in from California to be on your Beers of Contractors podcast, and your keg is still empty. Like, but I'm here. That was a rough one. But what about you? Which one was the one that Terry and I pissed you off the most?
Ooh.
See, that's interesting. I was going a totally different direction with that question.
Don't
I was
you
going a
point-
totally different direction with that.
Oh no, you can answer the
The
first
first
question.
question, I stayed on. So for those that don't know how this studio works, after we record the episode has to upload because we don't do this on Zoom.
Yeah.
We don't do this.
Oh, that's
we
a
don't
good
do
one.
this on Zoom. And
That's a
so
good
in
one.
order to minimize disruptions and improve quality, we do this. One of our guests decided to go to a restaurant
Oh, yes.
with his iPad to do the interview. And so we
Yes.
had an iPad, we had iPad for audio. We had this beautiful calming Oklahoma 20-mile-an-hour wind. And then because it was on an iPad, in order to upload the video, it was an hour and a half after the episode had concluded
And you were a stickler about your schedule.
And
you I have to book specific blocks for you. And you told me the next day how long you waited. And I'm like, damn, I felt bad.
The episode was an hour episode, and we waited an hour and a half for it to up.
Oh my God. And by the way, we weren't mentioning names. However, that episode was an awesome
The
quality
was
episode.
amazing.
Yeah.
Chad McClain, that
liked
was
the
the
guy.
episode. He grew a landscaping company from like 0 to 9 million. And
So
then
a lot of
it's
great content on that.
and he's got Live Maverick and
Oh, yeah.
stuff like that. So I think I actually gave him shit. I was like, bro, like, you're a multimillionaire. Like, go hook to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But now I wouldn't say that to his face because Chad is a monster. He's
It was a
6'1".
great episode. Like actually legitimately
great
like he had a
episode.
lot of value, a lot of motivation, a lot of here's how you lead a company. So there's tons of great value there. I would just say that like if since I don't get to go with Terry already took the easily worst episode.
Oh, the crown. We should make a trophy.
Easily worst, most annoying episode when someone's talking about caring about the others and can't silence the notifications on his iPad. That one was, yeah. Anyway, but don't show up. If you're going to be on a podcast, just don't shoot it from a restaurant. But the question was, which one have you guys annoyed me the most?
Oh, yeah, us too.
Well, we could just change it. Which one of us annoys you the most?
Oh, dude, that's an easy answer. The one that doesn't pay him. That's you, bro. I'm just kidding. I'm sure the listener was like, the listener, we're down to one now. Was like, well, which one pays him? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right,
you can be honest,
yeah,
Drake.
go ahead, Drake. Yeah, you could. Here's the cool thing about it. Whatever you say, you can edit it out, and we will have no fucking clue.
That's true. That's true. I think this is just a shared frustration that things just don't stay in the same place. The entire idea
Of things getting moved all the time. All the time. Every week.
Wait a minute. I don't know who does that. What are you talking about, Drake?
No, I walked in on you last weekend and you were moving things.
like we have this podcast set up to where none of the mics have to move because they're all set up in places. Like Terry has
This is so therapeutic
Terry has
right now.
his own desk.
You got your righteous victory.
So therapeutic right now.
You got validation from Drake. By the way, you know when you have a dad that's just an asshole to you all the time, but he gives you that one compliment and you just carry it with you for like months of your life? That's what Drake just did for you.
I'm literally tearing up right now.
Because, dude, I totally fuck with our equipment every week.
Nobody knows why.
No.
He doesn't even know why.
No. Not our equipment.
Is that what you were going to say?
Literally, it's your equipment that I'm using over at that desk. I'm resetting
You expect
don't
to
know if
reset it
there's-
every week.
I honestly, I cannot recall if I've ever come in and been like, it's where it should be.
Drake just gave you the Simon Cowell like treatment, like, you know, in American Idol where he just bashes these fucking singers and then he gives them one compliment and it's like, whoa. And I want to be clear, for the next 100 episodes, I will continue to fuck with you.
Yeah, I'm
Just to be clear.
I'm gonna have a scoreboard on the back side of this thing.
I will say, so if we're going with what has been impressive, what's been most impressive, I would say most impressive about each of you, Terry, are far less nervous. You were very nervous all the time when we started this. Yeah, you were, what I don't know, do with my hands. Yeah, you chilled out. And One Take Blake lives up to his name because can string a hook together. It's like, hey, let's do this, and just one take, and it's impressive.
It's impressive. It is an idiot savant talent where, like, I mean, in all reality, like, you can say you're gonna do it, and it comes out smooth as silk.
Don't ask me to do it twice.
Yeah,
It's a
because
shit
like
show.
I don't even think you remember what you said the
No, I
first time. It's like,
don't. It's like Will Ferrell in Old School.
yes.
And by the way, for you now, last person listening, if you're still there, stay with us.
Just a little longer.
Sometimes Drake will have me do these like hard opens where it's like, hey, just do a quick like 30-second spit about like what you want or what this episode's about. And I'll just like, okay, cool. Are you recording? Cool. And then if he's like, can you do it again?
Wait, but
No.
but to be fair, it is very rare for me to want you to do it again because it's usually fantastic the first time. And there are some people who that takes 18 takes and none of them are good. So that's a genuine compliment.
Either way, it's I appreciate
And
it. One take,
perseverance.
Blake.
Because we're at 100.
Yeah, and that makes us old, bro. And
Real old.
two, not only my cohorts here, Terry, cheers to you, and
Yep.
Drake, cheers to you, but to you guys that have been with us since the beginning, cheers to
Thank
you
you.
guys, including one who's over in the studio we need to bring back, who's been sitting there patiently. Jimmy Robertson was episode 5, is literally here, and he's going to be sharing an office literally 3 feet from me. So, but we appreciate you guys. We're looking for another 100 episodes.
Yep.
And having this relationship with you guys and continue to bring in people that hopefully bring value to your life. So thanks for listening to Beers with Contractors. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Beers with Contractors. We hope you enjoyed our chat as much as we did. Before we say our final goodbyes, a friendly reminder. Beers with Contractors encourages responsible drinking. If you choose to enjoy a beverage during our time together, please do so in moderation and only if you're of legal drinking age in your country or state. Furthermore, the advice and insights shared in this podcast are for informational purposes only. Always consult with professionals and experts in your field, and be sure to follow local laws and regulations regarding licensing and permits. We're here to help, entertain, and inspire, but your safety and compliance are important. So, as you head out into the world of construction and contracting, remember to build responsibly and make decisions that stand the test of time. Thanks for joining us today. We'll catch you on the next episode of Beers with Contractors. Until then, cheers to your success.